it's a little bit more complicated if you're a woman and if you're looking for for an acting job, because there's a certain age after which essentially it becomes significantly harder to get certain
Totally.
levels of employment.
Totally. And it's the case in Hollywood as well, that those conversations have been happening for a long time, that women's shelf life in this industry is it's a lot shorter, and it's a lot more unfortunately based, your value is your look in a much more disproportional way, than your talent,
Yeah.
and I think in India that's amplified. So it's a real tricky bind to be in, because, and look, the same, by the way, applies to the beauty industry, and it applies to the modeling industry. It becomes so tough to understand your value, or recognize that you as an artist have something inherent to you that is beyond what your hair looks like or your face looks like.
Yeah.
Always tied back to that, and I
Yeah.
and I that it's something that it's an ugly truth of this industry. Like, I am aware that I have been able to do certain jobs because of the way I look. And it wouldn't have been possible otherwise. That's a privilege that I have. But then at the same time, I also know that that doesn't affect men in the same way. Men, as you said, can
Yeah.
have long careers in this space. It certainly helps if you're a good-looking guy, but
Yeah.
then at the same time, not the only thing that sort of limits you necessarily.
Yeah. I mean,
And
if you have like 15 years to do something, like say for instance, if I'm a guy, I start at 20, right? And I say I want to be an actor. I say I'm gonna spend, like, I know people who've said I'm gonna spend 6 years doing this or 7 years doing this. By the end of 7 years, they're actually like good actors. But if you're in a situation where you're saying, okay, I want to be an actor at the age of 20 and you're a woman, you're going to also be thinking about the fact that by the time you're 30 or 32, and I'm being generous here, you're probably going to say, like, I'm not, and like, I'm not going to be able to be a successful after
I
that.
think it's also sort of bound up in societal expectations that a
Mm.
woman by age is going to get married, childbearing years, all of these things about societal milestones that are put on women. Like, if
Mm.
you don't do these things, then you're somehow not a successful woman. And it's so complicated. This
Right.
applies. We're talking about the acting and modeling industry, but these are pressures that are put on women across the board, no matter what your job is.